Ordinance.
Good.
Agenda.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, Two River Times, and the Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. OPMA authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings through the use of streaming services and other online meeting platforms. The Red Bank Council is meeting in person, as well as providing an option for the public to participate via Zoom video meetings. Please note that the option to attend is being provided as a courtesy. Therefore, if Zoom becomes unavailable during the meeting and it cannot quickly be fixed, Council will continue with the remainder of the meeting. For those joining us via Zoom, please raise your hand during designated times to be recognized for a comment. Whether you are appearing in person or via Zoom, you must provide your name to be recognized. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Mary.
Councilmember Bonnet, Councilmember Cassidy.
Present.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood. Here. Councilmember Forrest.
Present.
Councilmember Janone.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano.
Here.
And Mayor Portman.
Here. Again, thank you all for being here. We have a couple of proclamations to read. Would you like to, should I read it first, Kate, or would you like to say a few words?
Oh, sure. I can say something.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's a proclamation on the agenda for Independence Day, and my grandma, the matriarch of my family, happens to be here. My grandma was one of the biggest influences for me. I'm gonna cry.
Get her a tissue stat.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
All right.
It's a good growing experience for me. One of the biggest influence for me to become a public servant. My grandma was the chairman of the 4th of July parade in New York for almost a decade. It's one of the longest standing 4th of July parades in the country on the island, Staten Island. My grandma grew up in a farm setting there in the Forgotten Borough and sold eggs from a cart and always just taught me about community. They had a picnic ground that was used for every party. When I won my first election, I shared that those same chairs were the chairs I use in my backyard when I have people over. She would teach Flag Day in the schools. So I grew up extremely patriotic. 4th of July was a cornerstone holiday. It was an important holiday in my family. She would have so many people in her backyard that she would keep a tally every year of how many people would come over. It would be everybody from every single neighbor to every single dignitary to the Elvis impersonator from the parade would be there in her backyard. So if you wouldn't mind, after we read the proclamation, if you would come up for a picture, that would mean a lot. Thanks. Damn.
Proclamation for Independence Day 2025. In honor of Independence Day, we celebrate the freedom and the spirit of democracy that has guided our nation for over 2 centuries. On this day, nice. We pay tribute to the brave men and women who fought tirelessly for our independence, ensuring that the principles of liberty and equality would prevail. As we gather with friends and family to commemorate this historic day, let us remember the sacrifices made by those who came before us and recommit ourselves to upholding the values that define our great nation. Let us cherish our freedom and never take for granted the rights and privileges that come with being citizens of this land. As we mark Independence Day in the year 2025, let us reflect on the progress we have made and the work that still lies ahead. Let us strive to build a more just and inclusive society where all are treated with dignity and respect. Let us stand united in our commitment to preserving the freedoms that have made America a beacon of hope for generations to come. Therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, on behalf of the council and the deputy mayor, do hereby proclaim July 4th, 2025 as Independence Day and ask all citizens to celebrate our nation's history and look forward to a future filled with promise and possibility. Happy Independence Day.
Yeah, you come, get in the picture. Got him in the picture.
That's not good.
She dresses like this all the time, so she didn't have to go far. Mom, you wanna get a picture? Do three, I got 3 generations here. Come on.
It's changing.
You, I mean, you were the child, so we all know how much you actually did to help, not for nothing.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Actions we could use the screen. It's private. Seeing that in kids.
On over here. Big teeth,
You're right.
chins up. Nice.
You wanna say anything?
If you need to do anything.
Thank you.
We get to keep that.
Add us
Why?
chance to digest.
Yes,
That's great.
my grandma is Arlene, and then she creatively named her daughter Darlene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get back to you. Okay. Get back.
We have one more proclamation for International Plastic Free Day. Go ahead, tough guy. Let's see what song you come up with for that one.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Here we go.
Some ocean water, like.
Right. Whereas single-use plastic products are contributing to the global environmental crisis by polluting our oceans, harming wildlife, and leaching toxic chemicals into our soil and water. And whereas the Borough of Red Bank committed to promoting sustainability and reducing our carbon footprint and has adopted ordinance 2024-08, an ordinance amending chapter 492, plastics and polystyrene foam, single use, to prohibit the distribution of plastic utensils, condiment packets, napkins, and or extra containers with takeout or delivery orders unless requested by a customer within the Borough of Red Bank as initiated by the Red Bank Environmental Commission. And whereas Plastic Free July is a global movement that encourages individuals and communities to reduce their consumption of single-use plastics and find alternative, more eco-friendly solutions. Together, let us be mindful of our impact on the environment and work towards a more sustainable and plastic-free future for our borough and our planet. Therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, on behalf of the Borough Council, to hereby recognize July 1st, 2025 as International Plastic Free Day and urge all residents, businesses, and community organizations to participate in this movement by reducing their use of single-use plastics, choosing reusable alternatives, and educating others about the importance of reducing plastic waste. We have, Amy, you want to come on up and accept? You want to come up and accept this?
I'm gonna get a picture of him.
Yeah, get a picture. I like your dress, Amy. I like that.
I would have gone with the X-ray specs artificial.
It's the music.
That one.
What?
X-ray specs, official.
Yeah, the beautiful one. That's true. I like that song.
And one more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Or. Longer hair, what? Take my time?
Thank you. Wait, that's not.
Last night, by the way, I stopped at a good carve to grab my wife dinner on the way home. And as I was taking her order out, they said, "Do you want any plastic utensils or condiments?" And I said, "No, but I'm undercover inspecting all the restaurants for the borough and you have passed. You're following our ordinance." She was like, "Really?" I said, "No, but thank you anyway."
I believe that happened.
It did, 100%.
Yeah, I believe
yes.
that. I believe that.
All right, next up, we have the public hearing for the 2025 River Center budget adoption. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing
I'll make such a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Great. I guess you guys should come on up and I guess I should have done that after. You know what? We'll reopen it if we need to. Yeah, but come on up and actually, we're gonna use, is it the table one or the one at the,
box one.
this one in the,
Witness box.
the witness box?
Testimony, please. And
By the way, if you don't know, this is Mary Bennett, our new director of Red Bank River Center. Not so new anymore.
That's what I'm saying, I'm new.
just press the button.
Yes, I'm new. Good evening, Mayor, members of the Borough Council, members of the public.
1 second. You want to just pull that a little bit closer to you, the mic?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Pursuant to the New Jersey state law governing special improvement districts, the 2025 budget of the Red Bank River Center, formally approved by the Board of Directors on February 13th, 2025, is presented this evening for its public hearing. The proposed budget totals $579,970 and reflects no increase in the assessment levied on commercial properties within the district and not on the residents. It continues a fiscally responsible approach balancing modest revenue projections with strategic investments in the district operations, beautification, programming, and business support. It also includes continued debt service for the 2019 state improvements on White Street, English Plaza, and the White Street parking lot. In 2024, the River Center successfully advanced infrastructure and beautification efforts, launched and expanded signature events, and provided valuable support to small businesses. These accomplishments were achieved through close collaboration with the stakeholders and the borough. Looking ahead for the 2025 budget priorities will be sustainable initiatives, restoration and replacement of seasonal decor, continued development and community program and special events, a refreshed marketing campaign titled Red Bank, Your Downtown, launched this summer, and enhancements in business recruitment, public art, and landscaping, most recently seen the completion of the new mural at Canopy Crossroads. The budget further supports the implementation of Red Bank's downtown master plan, along with its efforts to improve public safety, accessibility, and community engagement. On behalf of the River Center, we thank you, Mayor, Borough Council, and community partners for their continued collaboration. We remain committed to fostering a vibrant and economically strong downtown in this year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Yeah, Ben.
So the budget comes from, So the budget comes from an assessment of the properties in the area. How does that work? I just want to, because we're talking about budget thing and people are watching.
Sure. So it's a SID, a Special Improvement District, which I believe that there's 7 districts within the district. So if the commercial properties that are within the district as a whole contribute, they pay a tax that comes to the borough, and then we are able to collect that to support ongoing initiatives and our ongoing budget.
So like, I don't pay anything toward it in my house, 16 Lake.
Correct. It's not the public, not the residents. It's the commercial property owners within the district.
Thank you. That's the only question I had. I mean, you guys seem to be doing okay, right? I mean,
Yes. Very fiscally responsible. Thank you.
Anyone?
I have a question.
Fill that mic?
Last year, there was the use of Placer AI,
Mhm.
which showed how many people were going through the Broadwalk and using it. Are there plans to use it again this year?
Yes, so it was a 2-year contract that we have. So we had it for last year and we do have it for the completion of this year. I am absolutely monitoring it and gathering the data, and I'll always be more than happy to show you for any event.
Thank you.
Anyone else anyone from the public have any questions about the River Center budget? Or really any questions about the River Center? You got the director here, but no?
I would like to make one more comment, if you
Yeah.
mind.
Just turn
The
the
one
mic on.
thing, I had the honor of serving for 3 years on that board, and one of the things I'd like to remind everyone is that actually you have public meetings.
Yes,
You schedule them, you can find them on the website, public can go, obviously people in the city can go and have a say and things and deliberate as part of that entity. And
yes, they also, we're always looking for committee members. We have a lot of committees within the River Center. And if someone shows an interest, they're always more than welcome to participate in any way that they can.
Well, it looks beautiful down there. I mean, the parklet came out great. The plantings that are up and down Broad and Monmouth and White look beautiful. So good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a visible difference. I'm very happy, and I think all of this is the town and the council all agree. We're very happy to see the hardscape, like the actual physical improvements in the downtown that are coming from the River Center, and the investment in the Broadwalk as well with the chairs and the programming and everything else. So it's great to see that change, and the advertising campaign, which I did mention in the last meeting, how you got a New Jersey Transit train that's going to be wrapped going up and down the corridor, which is just wonderful. And I love the vibe of the campaign too. It feels very Mr. Rogers neighborhood. And it's just really adorable. And I love seeing it on the buses. So you've been working, even though you said earlier, I'm still new. There's already so many accomplishments that can be attributed to your leadership. So we're really grateful to have you here.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
I'll make such a motion.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's it.
All right.
Good. Thank you, Marion.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have a public hearing on the 2025 Monmouth Open Space. This is for Count Basie Park General Improvements Project. We're going to rehabilitate existing deteriorated recreation infrastructure and install new recreation amenities at Count Basie Park, 11 Henry Street, Red Bank, block 97.01, lot 40 and 41. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing on this item?
So moved.
Have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jim, just before we ask any questions, you want to just clarify what this is for?
Yeah, basically for the application to the Monmouth Open Space Grant, it's a requirement to have a public hearing to discuss what we are submitting for the grant. So that's why we asked Mike Reiser of CME to be here with us today to give an overview of that.
Even better. Perfect. Come on up, Mike.
Just about a 45 to 50-minute presentation.
Could be much shorter than the last. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you to Mayor, Council, and members of the public for having me. As Jim noted, and as the mayor noted, this is a public hearing for the submission of a Monmouth County Open Space Grant application on behalf of the borough. The purpose of the Monmouth County Open Space Program is to expand park and open space opportunities for residents by providing funding to assist municipalities to develop or redevelop land to expand recreational opportunities. The borough is specifically seeking funding to make improvements to Count Basie Park. Count Basie Park, as I'm sure everyone here knows, is located at 11 Henry Street and is specifically identified as block 97.01, lots 40 and 41. The entire site is roughly 14.43 acres in size, contains a turf football field with a track, bleachers, a turf softball field, a turf multi-purpose field, 3 grass baseball fields, 2 asphalt basketball courts, a playground, a gazebo, and an asphalt walking trail throughout the park. Specifically, the funding that we were asking for is for improvements, including reconstruction of the existing basketball courts, including new hoops, players' benches, repaving and restriping of those courts. Replacement of the existing fencing and backstops for the grass baseball fields. Reconstruction of the turf softball field. Reconstruction of the turf multi-purpose fields. Replacement of the existing fencing. Oh, no, already said that one. Installation of decorative benches throughout the park. Resurfacing of the existing asphalt walkway that runs through the park, and as well as the installation of exercise stations along that existing walkway. The objective of this project is to provide much needed improvements and upgrades to Count Basie Park. The improvements and additional amenities will provide an improved space and active recreation space for the community. The Monmouth County Open Space Grant matches up to 50% of eligible project costs, up to a maximum of $500,000. For this project, we have an estimated total project cost of $2 million. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or hear any comments from council, public.
What's the typical timeline from application to getting a decision hearing from the county on a grant like this?
I'd have to confirm with our grant writers on that, but it's typically a few months. I could check back on our 2021 grant that we had received for improvements to Mohawk Pond, East Side Park, and Count Basie Park as well.
Of grant money.
Mhm.
I'll make a comment, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry, Ben, just real quick. The expected awards are in October.
Bam.
Thank you, Jim.
I just wanted to comment that obviously many of these improvements all of them are needed. The field gets a lot of activity and use, things wear out and age, and we need to properly maintain our parks.
I think somebody in the public had a comment.
Yes.
In the grant, are there specific?
Hold on, let's, can I just ask you to come up and then, just so everyone can hear and there's people at home, you guys can kind of,
Probably this side could work, Mayor.
is this one? Yeah, actually, Adrian, we can, yeah, I think that one's working as well. The other side, that side.
Adrian Bilal, 266 South Pearl. I was wondering in the.
Or Adrian, one more question. Is there a button on that mic? You just hit it. There we go.
Are there specific things in the grant that you can only apply for? Because my concerns also are with the bleachers. And, they're a mess. The basketball court has been done over and over again every year, and not every year, but I know they've been done because my son actually grew up down there and he brought to my attention at that time that the basketball courts weren't at the right height. And we fought and we got them, done right. So I know they've been done over again, but the bleachers are disgusting. I mean, there are pieces out there where the metals are out. I know at one time they were taping it. Somebody could get hurt. So what are we doing about the bleachers?
I give the bleachers update, I guess, is that?
Yeah, should we just talk about, yes?
Yeah.
So that's actually not going to be applied for as this grant because we've actually already secured Green Acres funding for the replacement of those bleachers. So we're in the process of finalizing the agreement with Green Acres, and then from there we'll move towards design and ultimately construction and replacement of those bleachers.
Because the bleachers act as a structure over the existing locker rooms and.
Yeah, yep.
So, CME had to engage the structural engineer as well, besides just regular general engineering. So I know you guys are wrapping up the design plans on that to be put out the bid.
Yes, yep, that's correct. And that'll include complete replacement of those bleachers as well as the press box that's used for the football games.
One other thing about the basketball court, and this was so weird at the time, the court was redone maybe 2 years ago, but they denied our application for a total, they just kind of,
Microsurface?
they microsurfaced it. Yeah, it was like, there was no way it was gonna hold up. It was like,
They microsurface over, they don't realize that the height is different. So you can't just go over it to make sure that they're measuring so that the height, goes along with.
so basically, we're looking to do it right this time, so.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Yes.
Davis Gomez, 25 Cedar Street. Two things. Number one, there was, he's not here, at Freddie Boynton's meeting, a gentleman, brought up the issue about the baseballs going over to his business, cracking windshields and denting cars. Is there anything in this set aside to prevent that from?
Yeah. Yes, so we will be replacing all the existing fencing along those baseball fields. And that would include the fence along that south border, I believe is where we're speaking with the car dealerships there. So, yes, that would be replaced and a higher fence would be installed there to prevent that from happening.
And my second question is, there's a gate by I think it's the southeast, where there's the softball field that's, I guess buds up to the liquor store. The few times I've been there watching some games, I've seen it's been locked, and I think that's a security issue. God forbid something happens, there's no way out if you need to run away. And I understand the liquor store doesn't want parking there and people loitering there, but is there a way to put maybe like a one-way fence or a one-way gate so people if there's an emergency, they can leave the premises going through the liquor and not come in? Because I know the liquor store is not looking to have cars sit there. But for safety purposes, God forbid something happens, there's no way. I mean, the young kids can jump over a fence, but I mean, the parents aren't really jumping over fences. I'm just worried about if there's a security issue.
That's certainly something we can discuss with the Parks and Rec Department as well as Borough and Council, and something to certainly consider. To be honest, I'm not sure of that exact gate at this time, but something that can certainly be added to the scope.
Is that gate okay to be locked in general, regardless of what we're
I
doing?
think Chief Frazee reviewed this. I would, if he was here, I could ask him, but at one point, actually, somebody that is not associated with the borough welded that gate shut. Actually welded it. So we went out and freed up the weld and put the lock on it. But it shouldn't be welded shut, that's for sure. But I think Chief Frazee looked at the access to it. I just don't have the answer right off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? Is that a hand in the back or? No, all right. All right, then, anyone online, Jim?
Check that real quick. No, sir.
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Hey, Ben, will you do me a favor and just turn that mic off in the box there? It's gonna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can I have a motion to open the floor for public comments on agenda items only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, once again, we're having a public comment for anything on the agenda. If you have anything you want to discuss, please come on up, raise your hand. Yes.
Repeat my name. Good evening. I just heard about this new position that's being created.
Say your name again,
Adrian Bilal,
because the recording doesn't know who pitched you again.
66 South Pearl Street.
You.
I just want to say that served on the Park and Recreation Committee, as you all know, for several years. Back then, when there was only one person, we didn't have Mrs. Gomez. My concerns are, why are we creating this position?
The position of the creation of the 3 different departments.
Yeah, it's called what? The creation of the position Director of Recreation and Human Services.
So what this position is going to do is going to combine the 3 departments of community engagement, the senior services, and recreation. It's actually a recommendation that came out of the 2018 Management Enhancement Study. Since my 1.5 years of being here, I tend to agree with that recommendation. I see where those 3 departments have been sharing resources, but they're still working in silos. So I think the creation of one director of that department to oversee it, who reports directly to me, will be able to allocate those resources more appropriately, their funds, the ability to apply for more grant funding to come into that department, and just utilize their resources much more effectively, particularly use of our government building after hours, when it's sitting vacant, more programming, just opportunities for growth in that area to serve more residents.
So overall, that's what that person will be doing, applying for grants, and we have somebody who does that already?
No, not overall. They're going to be overseeing the entire operation of all 3 departments.
Okay,
They're gonna be doing much more than applying for grants.
okay. Because I see that the Parks and Recreation Director, Mrs. St. Louis, and Ms. Gomez and Jackie are doing a wonderful job as far as running their programs. And they're doing, I mean, Oscar was the only one doing everything before, not besides Jackie's job, but Mrs. Gomez's job. So in my opinion, I don't see where it's the advantage of having this new position. Is that going to affect the residents of Red Bank as far as his salary is concerned?
Yeah, absolutely, as far as,
At this point in time in our, way things are in our society right now, we don't need that. That's just
To
my,
provide better services?
excuse me?
I see it differently. I see it as providing stronger services and nobody is being demoted by this.
I didn't,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying that each one of these directors, I think, are more than capable of handling what they're doing, and they're doing it very effectively. That's my opinion, and you have yours.
Yeah.
I don't need to get into that, but that was just my comment that I wanted to share with everyone.
No, I appreciate it, but I would have the same concerns, but once it was presented that the resources are in silos, that they could be sharing those resources better, there could be
I think that if they come together as far as having the ability to sit and talk with each other or whatever and do it, that they can do it on their own. That's my personal feeling.
Okay.
They're more than capable of doing it on their own, other than us hiring another person
Mhm.
to do it.
Okay.
Because that is a salary that's going to affect the residents of Red Bank. That's my point.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think too, it's important for me to look at it from 30,000 foot and not look at the people that are in place right now today, but what the best structure for Red Bank is going to be far beyond retirements, people leaving, moving on. And to me, and the enhancement study agreed that that's the best way to appropriately allocate all these resources is by all of them working together and not this budget only affecting this person, this budget only affecting this. How do they pool their money? How do they pool their resources? So I see it beyond just today, Jackie, Oscar, and
I can see it beyond today too, but that's what I'm saying. But another person, I think they can handle it. They're professional and they can do it themselves. That's, like I said, that's my opinion. You have another vision. But I just wanted to share my comment.
Thank you, appreciate it. And I like your hat.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments on agenda items only? Yes.
Suzanne, 125 Cedar Street. First one is just, I guess, more of a clarification, ordinance 2025-14. Basically what we need permits for, it's saying motion pictures, television, pictures, commercials, and still photography, I guess, for monetary purposes. But you obviously can do it for personal use. What about for campaign commercials and campaign pictures? Do you need a permit for that?
For what?
Well, the ordinance is saying if you're going to do a motion picture, you need a permit for doing a film. You need, so my question is and it says for anything used for television or commercial.
I think the whole chapter is entitled commercial filmmaking. So if you're making a video for a campaign, you don't need a permit.
You say you do it,
You do not need a permit.
I said, well,
That's not commercial filmmaking.
but it's on TV.
You're not making money on it.
No, but I just wanted to say, because it just said NTV, so that's why I wanted to make sure.
Think of it this way, we have peddlers and solicitors licenses, right? But we don't require people who are walking around for religious or political purposes to register in that manner for First Amendment considerations. And so that same rubric applies to the filmmaking it's a First Amendment activity. So if you're making money on it, you're disrupting streets or shutting down things in the town, then we have the right to regulate it. But if you're on the sidewalk, you do anything on the street corner here, as long as you're not being vulgar or obstructing traffic, right? See religious people on the corners all the time in town. That's protected speech activity. So making a campaign video or broadcasting your viewpoint on Facebook from the sidewalk is protected First Amendment activity.
No, I just want clarification. My second thing is on ordinance Eve. Sitting through the multiple planning, zoning board regarding the, development and train station. It was really interesting listening to the pros and cons of building something 6 stories, 5 stories, even, I think, member on the board said they'd be happy with 10 stories if it fulfilled the immediate demand for low-income housing, which is obviously a big issue in town. People want low-income housing. One of the ideas that people had is why stick low-income housing people in these sardine boxes, in these apartments? Like, for example, we have Cedar Crossing, where you have a nice area, where you're not just in apartments, but you have the ability to live. So I guess my idea or question, why couldn't we do this? Because it's such an imperative for low-income housing. I think it was mentioned that an estimated $200,000 could be collected from the cannabis pot money for taxes. One of the usage it says here is for infrastructure and community improvements. Couldn't we set aside some of it? I'm not saying all of it, but some of it to maybe subsidize rents in the town so we can open up. For example, if somebody needed housing, we put aside $50,000 a year to subsidize rent, so maybe more people can afford all these other locations in town to get in, or in this case, in this building. If right now, because their idea is to lower from 6 stories to 5, they're losing X amount of units, that is gonna make that, I believe, what, 20% needs to be low-income housing. Well, another idea is, because immediate need is if someone wants to go to another Granville and there's no low-income housing available, but there's an apartment, couldn't the town use the cannabis money, a portion of it, not all of it, to subsidize that rent? So we almost run our own low-income housing funding to meet this demand.
Anything else?
I just like some feedback.
So I introduced the ordinance that was passed that allocates the cannabis revenue into the recreation fund. And as one of the people up here, obviously, we all care a lot about housing in Red Bank and making sure we have every program imaginable. One of the first conversations I actually had with legal counsel and with our manager was, do you think this is something that can go towards housing? And then as we looked at the numbers and what the programming would be and how it would go with the amount of revenue, that was not the appropriate way to use that revenue. That money is going towards the recreation trust. Because of the amount that is, it's not in that scalable area to be doing what you're saying. So those conversations did happen before we introduced that ordinance and before we made the decision of the best place to allocate those funds.
Well, I agree, recreation is important, but it was really pushed, one of the board members, Ms. Hernandez, pushed the importance of low-income housing now. So now it'd be nice if we can get even a few families into a resident now, and if we could subsidize it, so instead of paying a $4,000 rent, if they can afford $1,000 and some of that cannabis money used to subsidize it, now we're meeting the needs to get some people into housing now. Yes, parks and restaurants are important, I'm not disputing it, but it's just funny how we talk in the committee meetings, how important it is, how an immediate demand is for low-income housing. And yet we're doing the best we can. I know they did a great presentation yesterday about the history of Mount Laurel, but I'm just putting out an idea of maybe a way we can help people now. Just an idea, Kate.
Maybe Ms. Hernandez, who serves on the planning board, who's present tonight for this meeting, can answer some of your questions.
I'm bringing it to the council. If I had a question specifically for her, I would ask it last night at the meeting.
You just said her name.
Yeah, I'm just quoting what she said and how important it was. And I just bringing up ideas. I thought you're open to ideas.
Without a doubt. Sure.
Yes.
I'm happy to address the.
Name and address.
It's Sal Hernandez, 27 Drummond Avenue. Obviously in Red Bank. I am happy to clarify the question. I never once called for a 10-floor building. I just want to put that on the record. Very important for accurate facts. What I did say is that I would appreciate us to reconsider going back to 6 floors, and I would still say that today, and I am saying it here. And it is because I'm worried about the here and the now, but I'm also worried in efficiency and what's actually a problem solution. And as much as the idea of subsidizing something far away might sound, personally to me, does not sound like the most efficient way of using tax funds in general. And I think that the best way to tackle lack of housing is building housing. That is the pragmatic, long-term solution that you can, see a lot of people encourage and build. And so if there's anything to share is that I stand by the idea that we should go back to 6 floors and that the sightline is not enough of a reason to consider losing affordable housing. Because those are homes forever, like forever. I was just in a call listening to people talk about a lot of the college work and prep that goes into, a lot of the young folks that we have in our town, especially in the west side. And again, I make the same argument now that I made before. Very grateful though, we'll say that the council is taking steps to actually get us somewhere on that use of parking lots that I think is not necessarily being used to the best or most efficient way. So all that to say, definitely did not say 10 floors ever. And in general, really encourage us to think about the fact that it's a small town, it's 2 square miles. We do not have a lot of leverage here to build affordable housing, but this is one of them. And I think these choices matter, and I believe that they're not popular. I said it before, but I think that these are choices that are needed. And I hope that we consider going forward in a way in which we're having rational, fact-based conversations on how we actually tackle the things that impact our town, because I care about it as much as I know each and every one of the people here do. And would just love to see action, which is what is being taken today. So just grateful for the fact that something's being done about affordable housing in this town once and for all. So thanks all.
And so you hit that mic button.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else have anything to add on agenda items only? Jim, anyone online? We check.
There's a hand there.
Oh, there's a hand.
Was a hand.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we're gonna run up into the, and hit that little button on the microphone. It'll turn red. You'll see it. Hit right on the microphone. See the microphone up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll light up red when it's on.
There we go.
Okay, good evening, everyone. How are we?
Good.
All right, thank you for asking.
Alicia Wilkerson, 107 River Street, Red Bank. I am concerned about the train station situation of the redevelopment. Red Bank is too small, in my opinion, for all of those buildings to be built. We're 2 square miles. If you build that, I'm thinking also, what's gonna happen, where the people that use the train station parking lot gonna park?
Well, there's parking built into the development, the project.
I mean, for the commuters.
For the commuters, New Jersey Transit gave instruction to the developer that said, hey, we're gonna need 150 designated spots for commuters, and that's been factored into the plan.
So only 150,
So it's
because,
gonna be about 900 total, and that's for residents, people, just public parking. Or maybe it was 750, I don't remember the exact
okay,
number of spots.
okay. All right, so that situation, they've allocated for. What about the building by the bridge that they tore down, that they rebuilt building? I think not by,
The old DNA building, you're talking about, right?
how many units is that gonna be?
And 12,
36.
Yeah, was it
12.
236.
234 maybe?
So you're gonna have 234 units there in Red Bank, and then how many units here?
Well, we're not sure yet. They can put up to 400 units there.
Okay, so let's just say they do 4 and they do 2 there. That's 600 more units in Red Bank. Is Red Bank's infrastructure able to handle that, first of all?
Yeah,
Well, yes, I believe so.
It is.
Yes.
Okay, it is.
yes.
Yeah, because there were.
They won't have to do anything with the pipes,
The
the
developer,
roads, or you're gonna have to change the traffic some kind of way. Because you're bringing in 600 more units.
As far as infrastructure goes, the developers usually have a responsibility for
What about the town having a
infrastructure.
ability for the infrastructure? What about the town itself?
So the way that's split is, so it's a but-for test. So if the developer comes in, let's say there's a 4-inch pipe in the road, and they need an 8-inch pipe. The developer is responsible for making that upgrade. But for their development, you would not require an 8-inch pipe in the road. So that's how the municipal land use law separates, things that are the municipality's general responsibility from things that a developer is required to do, but
That
for
way.
their development.
Okay, so anything happened, it wouldn't be on you guys, it would be on the developer.
So here's how the process works. So right now, we're just at a redevelopment plan stage. This
Right.
just sets the parameters of what can be built there.
Okay,
Someone will come, the designated redeveloper will come with an actual plan. And at that point in time, as we're negotiating the redevelopment agreement, which is the actual agreement about what the developer is gonna pay for, what escrows and fees they owe, and all sorts of things for affordable housing that we were just talking about with
mm-hmm,
a couple of members ago, members of the public ago. All those fees will be reviewed by the engineers and the redevelopment attorneys for the town. And they'll be memorialized. So if a new pumping station is needed, then the new pumping station will be paid by the developer as part of that redevelopment agreement as part of their but-for contribution in the municipal land use law. And so this is an interim stage. This is basically saying that yes, up to 600 units can be built there. If someone's gonna come, whatever the number was, I don't want to quote numbers. I'm not steeped in it like that, like you guys are in here. But whatever they're gonna build is then going to be studied, and those things will be worked out in terms of what the proposal can work in that area and what the developer has to pay to make that happen. I've been the end result here, brought them here for a few different projects in town that aren't maybe necessarily redevelopment plan. Have made infrastructure improvements to accommodate themselves, like the new one on the river over here. Things like that. Maple Cove has a redevelopment agreement, same thing. And so that's all spelled out. And that's the answer to your question, sorry.
okay. All right, so I just want to digress a little bit. We were in a meeting a couple of weeks ago here, and we were all, the major concern was the traffic. The major concern was the traffic. So you're adding 400 units, say everybody got 2 cars. All right, 800 cars, more. You already know that Shrewsbury Avenue is a mess. And being that they closed, I don't even go down that way where the stores are. I don't even go down that way because you have that closed up for the shops to have their whatever. But the traffic is gonna be horrific. We all know it's horrific now. So I'm just letting everybody know to keep it in mind. It's going to get worse. I don't want to be a city. I don't want to be Hoboken. I don't want to be a little New York. I want to be the borough of Red Bank. Let's keep Red Bank, and not make it a little New York, a Hoboken, a Newark, nothing. It's a borough. Okay, that's just my opinion, and everybody have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions on agenda items only, comments? No? Right. I have a motion to close the public comment on agenda items.
I'll make such a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a motion to approve the minutes from 6/12/2025.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a bunch of ordinances to get through. First up is the final reading and public hearing for ordinance 2025-11 entitled an ordinance amending chapter 90 officers and employees of the borough's revised general ordinances to create the position of a director of recreation and human services. This ordinance was introduced on June 12, 2025. Can I have a motion to open the public comment on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We already heard from Ms. Bilal about this one, but if anyone else has any questions or comments, now is the time. Anyone online? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public comment on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-11?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Mary.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
I'm gonna make comment before I vote. I listened to Ms. Bilal's comments and I plan to vote yes on this. I just wanted to comment on some of the concerns mentioned. And I did make a mention of this at the last meeting. So I spoke to the administrator, our manager about this. And under our form of government, I'm mindful that I really want to allow our manager to run the borough in an efficient way, and I want to give our manager reasonable flexibility to do what he thinks is the most efficient and best way to run the borough. I don't particularly, personally, want to be involved in kind of micromanaging how the manager does day-to-day things. So the manager thinks this is going to be more efficient for the reasons he articulated. In addition, he didn't mention, but he said at the last meeting, because I asked him about it, that I also like the idea of fewer people reporting to the manager. This did, by the way, I did bring this topic up at Parks and Rec at our meeting, although we did not have a quorum. We did have a discussion about it. I don't want to characterize how committee members felt about it, but I certainly am planning to vote in favor. I am voting yes on this. But I think it's important that we allow our manager to operate in good faith in doing what's best for the borough. Of course, we don't like to add jobs, but the manager seems to be doing a very good job at efficiently running the borough. And I'm confident that this is you wouldn't recommend this if it wasn't the right decision. These are two relatively small departments. It seems like merging them might make sense. And I'm sure if for some reason in a few years, if the manager wasn't happy with the results of this merger, he may undo it. It's not like something we can't undo. But I just wanted to answer your, I was just listening to you as you were talking, and certainly something on my mind. So that I'm just telling you my thinking behind my yes vote. So that I vote yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Council Member Janot,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
and Mayor Portman.
Yes. And next up, we have a final reading and public hearing for ordinance 2025-12 entitled amending the salary ordinance of the Borough of Red Bank. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jim. This is just to literally name the salary range we'd be offering to this new employee.
And the creation of the Deputy Director of Public Works.
All right, and the Deputy Director of Public Works. Can I have a motion to open the floor for comment on this agenda item only, on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any questions? This ordinance was introduced on June 12th, 2025. Anyone online, Jim? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public comment on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-12?
Sorry, Mayor, I need a second.
Oh, I'll second that.
Hold on, but I got lost.
Motion to adopt, sorry.
Right, okay, so then are we at roll call already?
Motion to adopt.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you needed a second to close the public hearing. I got you, all right. Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-12?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy,
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood,
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest,
Yes.
Councilmember Janot,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
and Mayor Portman.
Yes. Next up is a final reading and public hearing for 2025-13 entitled an ordinance amending chapter 118 Police Department of the Borough's revised general ordinances to update promotional procedures. I know we talked about it last meeting, Jim, but you want to just give a quick summary of this ordinance?
Yeah, between Greg, myself, and Chief Frazee, we worked on this ordinance. Basically streamlines the process a little bit for promotional opportunities within the police department. And particularly, it says in there that the promotional opportunity, you have to have held the office prior to the opportunity that you're applying for, going for promotion for.
Gotcha.
Anything else to add on that, Greg?
You have to hold it for 1 year
You have to hold it for 1 year.
before being promoted to the next rank.
Thank you. This ordinance was introduced on June 12th, 2025. Can I have a motion to open the public comment on this ordinance only? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any questions on the 2025-13? Anyone online, Jim?
Sir.
Have a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2025-13?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt 2025-13?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy,
Yes.
Councilmember Stacy Blackwood,
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest.
Yes.
Councilmember Janone,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
and Mayor Portman.
Yes. Next up, we have the final reading and public hearing for ordinance 2025-14 entitled an ordinance amending chapter 355 filming to revise the borough's commercial filmmaking regulations to seek film ready certification from the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission. This ordinance was introduced on June 12th, 2025. Can I have a motion to open the floor for public comment on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any questions or comments on the commercial filmmaking ordinance? No? Anyone online, Jim? No? Have a motion to close the public comment for ordinance 2025-14.
I'll make such a motion, Mr.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-14?
So moved.
Make such a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy.
Yep.
Councilmember Stacy Blackwood,
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest,
Yes.
Councilmember Janone,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
and Mayor Portman.
Yes. Ben, such enthusiasm. All right, next up, we have an introduction. Ordinance 2025-15 entitled an ordinance adopting a redevelopment plan as approved by the planning board for the non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment known as the train station redevelopment, including the properties identified on the borough's official tax map as block 41, lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.01, 6.02, and 7. Block 63, lots 5, 5.01, 6, 7, and 7.01. Block 75, lots 104, 104.01, 171, 172, 177, and 178. Block 75.02, lots 169 and 170.01. Block 75.05, lot 16.01. Block 75.06, lots 7 and 8. Can I have a motion to approve an introduction?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy,
Yes.
Councilmember Stacy Blackwood,
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest,
Yes.
Councilmember Janone,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
and Mayor Portman.
Yes. So the public hearing on this ordinance will be held on July 10th, 2025. Next up is an introduction for ordinance 2025-16 entitled an ordinance amending chapter 490 planning and redevelopment regulations to revise the borough's land use regulations applicable to billboards within the borough of Red Bank. I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-16 on introduction.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question briefly?
Sure.
About this? Can we clarify, there's been a lot of debate at the zoning board level, and I'd like to hear from Mr. Canada, the manager. We're not, the language here, we are not suddenly approving an electronic billboard and a site that has been debated. I just want to be really clear on introduction, as to what the impact of this particular revision to.
So if you're familiar with the zoning board proceedings, this clarifies the two main issues of contention that they were arguing about at the zoning board. It doesn't affect that application at all. That application was entitled to the rules at the time that application was made, so it really doesn't have anything to do with that application, doesn't affect it at all. What this does is it clarifies for the future applications, you heard the two arguments regarding the definition of a billboard, which ours is pretty outdated in our ordinance. Only contemplated a billboard being, maybe a poster on paper, essentially, which, as we know, there's many different mediums of that now. So we modernized the definition using a definition that was previously approved by the Third Circuit, because our First Amendment issues here as well with billboards. Also the second issue that arose was whether the conversion of a billboard constitutes maintenance and repair, which is allowed under your current ordinance for billboards that start here. Billboards are prohibited uses in Red Bank presently. However, you have billboards and they're grandfathered in, and there are rules on that you can maintain and repair them. The applicant in the zoning board hearing you were discussing earlier was arguing that converting it was maintenance and repair. And the ordinance, I think, was pretty clear that it wasn't, but in case there's any doubt, it now says that it does not include a conversion to a different type of sign. So it addresses the two issues that came up as to the ambiguities. And as many of you know and reviewed, it's not publicly available because it's a privileged document, but the zoning board attorney wrote to me as the borough attorney expressing those two areas that needed clarification. And so this is in response to those, the notion that the zoning board needs more clarity going forward, and they will have that. However, this doesn't affect the prior application at all because that was made under the prior ordinance, and those arguments will stand as they might, or as they might fall.
I just really wanted to be really clear as to what we were doing here. And by the way, it's well drafted and it is very clear, but I just wanted to make sure that people didn't think that something was being done here that counteracted, but it existed. And I just wanted that. So thank you very much for that explanation, Greg.
So this billboard, this ordinance moving forward would prevent the existing billboards in Red Bank, not this case that we're talking about, but the existing billboards in Red Bank besides that, from being converted into digital billboards.
Yes, I mean, it's my position that the current ordinance and your zoning board's attorney's position, the current ordinances already do that.
Okay.
However, there
But
were
it's
arguments.
strengthened.
There were creative arguments raised at a zoning board hearing, and this puts those arguments to bed with clarity.
It puts those arguments to bed with clarity.
It's been the borough's position all along that the conversion is not made in seven.
And I understand why you're saying that, and that we all believed it was clear before as well, but we're taking every step we can as a governing body in this moment,
We're now being literal.
as literal as possible.
And I want to make sure I also understood an explanation you gave me before. So you can't, in the state of New Jersey, under the current law, just ban billboards and just say you can't have them.
It took me a long time to research. So let's just put it this way, because I don't want to sit here and recite. It's a very complicated area of law, but suffice to say, if you have an ordinance that is too broad or too restrictive, it can be considered to violate the First Amendment. And so the definition that I use, you can see that's revised in that ordinance, I took from a town whose ordinance was tested and upheld by the Third Circuit in 2020. And you can see it's not super restrictive. It's not as restrictive as you think it might be. And the reasons for that is because it's been narrowly tailored to fit within the First Amendment considerations in this arena as well. Particularly since billboards can display things other than commercial speech.
Is that Mount Laurel?
Mount Laurel was that definition is from Mount Laurel, modified slightly to address the specific circumstances here in Red Bank. But the overall language of that was tested in 2020 in the Third Circuit and passed First Amendment muster. I cannot sit here and give you a bright line rule. There's a lot of different case law in this arena, and it very much depends. So I thought that rather than trying to be too clever by half myself, I would rely on the attorneys who brought it to the Third Circuit in 2020.
Too clever, but
Thank you, Mr. Kendall.
Smart. Thank you.
thank you.
Do we already do the roll call? We're done. All right.
I paused.
No, we're
All right, then can I have a motion to approve 2025-16 on introduction?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis.
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy.
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood.
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest.
Yes.
Councilmember Janot.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano.
Yes.
And Mayor Portman.
Yes, and the public hearing on this ordinance will be on July 10th.
Beautiful.
Before we get to our resolutions, anyone need to pull any of these out, or can we introduce them all in the consent agenda? There's a lot of them.
I've read through them. I'm okay with them being approved en masse.
Yeah, no objections from this.
No objections.
No objection.
Everyone good?
this end.
All right, can I have a motion to approve resolutions 25-125 through 25-138 under the consent agenda?
I'll make such a motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonakis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy.
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood,
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest.
Yes.
Councilmember Janot,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano,
Yes.
and Mayor Portman.
Yes. Thank you, Mary. One more time, I'd like to have a motion to open the floor for public questions and comments.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whatever's on your mind, now's the time to speak about it. Yes, Barbara.
This one.
Was 135 Branch Avenue. Last night at the planning board meeting, something came up as we were listening to the engineer explain the process of the fair share. And I at the end of the meeting, I kind of asked the question and I got an answer, and it's a good answer, but I think I'd like some more answers. My question last night was about the rehabilitation process and receiving some of the grants that people can get. We discussed it a little bit last night, and it was kind of said that it's out there. Well, I spent about an hour today, and although I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, I'm also not the village idiot. I could hardly find any of it. It was buried here and buried there and bits and pieces. And people who need this kind of assistance need to know that it's out there for them. And I would like to ask and suggest and cajole this body to plan some meetings like they did. The meeting that you just had was wonderful, but just for this at the senior center, and have people come in and be able to understand that there are funds to help them with that screen door in the back that hasn't had screen in it in years, or the windows upstairs that don't open so they don't meet code. This is all available and to people of certain economic standing.
Hey, Barbara?
Yes.
Just for clarity, you're talking about the first time home buyer program and the home rehabilitation program.
Rehabilitation.
Yep.
That has not, not the home first time homeowners. But he mentioned that we have this program, and that's part of our meeting of the fair share was that we were rehabilitating some a particular area. But it is open to a family. It is open to a senior citizen who doesn't know that she can have locks put on her doors. And I think that it behooves this group to get out there and get this information out to the people who need it. I mean.
So what I'll say is, just recently, Shauna E. Banks of our office in the borough has taken over the affordable housing role. There was a couple resolutions ago. Actually, just today, I was reviewing the website updates that Shauna and Adriana are working on for this specific program that you're talking about.
That's fine. If you can afford to put a new lock on your back door, you might not be able to afford a computer or an iPhone. So you have to take all of this into consideration. And I think that you have to do some in-person outreach, and you have to, even if people just attend a church meeting or something, someplace where people can find out this information.
Yeah.
It is really important.
I agree, and I think the first step, like I'm looking at right now, the flyers that are being created for the information on what you're talking about. One of the takeaways from this is going back to Sean and Adriana talking about how we then do the community outreach part of that.
Yeah, and and I don't mean to be a snob or anything, but can we write them in English that everyone can understand and then have them in Spanish where everyone can understand it on the other side? But sometimes the complicated steps to do these things just says to people, I don't get this, I'm gonna put it aside, I'm not gonna do it. So there's a whole big ball of problems. And I think we are not doing our citizens justice by not having that out there for them. That's pretty much it. Sorry.
Thank you, Barbara.
Wish I could say more.
Agreed.
Yes.
Hey, you guys, tell us your hand go off. Yes, come on.
Adrian, now 667. Two things. I phoned your office this morning, Mr. Gans, and I don't know if you got my message or not. Well, since you're here, I figured I'd ask you. I walk in the morning and down at Count Basie this morning, well, yesterday it was, I like to go early, especially with the severe heat. But I found out that the park is not open until 6 o'clock. There were people that had climbed the fence that were in the park. And I asked him, I said, how did you get in here? He says, I climbed the fence. And then a lady that came after me, well, she was right behind me, and she said, oh, it doesn't open till 6. The gentleman was there at 6. But my question is, when we have severe heat like that, we have people who, like myself, who like to get out early before the heat comes up. So I'm suggesting the possibility that the gates could be open maybe at 5:30 or 5 o'clock, a little bit earlier on those days. I mean, just during the summer. I don't know if you want to do it when you know that the weather's going to be, extreme heat, or do you want to, start it just for the summer to have it open?
It's something to take back.
Okay.
I mean, operationally, just, looking at whether it's creating overtime with Public Works, the guys that are opening the gates and things like that. So
I remember a few years back, I think when they were renovating the park, and there was an issue with who was going to be there, because at that time they were inconsistent about opening a gate at a certain time. Somebody had suggested that the police officers, because they're on duty all the time, that possibility of them just going to maybe open one gate until the official staff, the DPW comes down, then they can open up the rest of the gates, but have the main one on Henry Street opened earlier. So that way you wouldn't have to pay, an extra person, because a police officer could do it. That's just a suggestion. Secondly, I want to know I know you were doing the Marine Park, and I know that's something that's been in the works forever. I remember the community participating in the whole project. Now, are we still following that project, or has it been changed up or anything like that? As far as the original plan for the Marine Park?
It's been tweaked for sure, but the main components of moving the parking to the tennis court, grassing that area in. Actually, the original plan had not left a few spots for boondocks, so we added those in. That was a change. The playground's going to be a bigger footprint. But for the most part, I think it's.
Okay, reason why I was asking, because there's not going to be designated free parking for people who want to participate in the park. Because the park where the tennis courts are, isn't that municipal parking where anybody can park there?
Yes, but Marine Park was that way too, I believe, yeah.
Well, no, you could go down around the circle. Well, before they did put the meters down there, but before the meters came, you could park down there, they could fish, people would go down there and read, or, whatever. So I'm just throwing this out here. Now, if you have a mom that's coming, or a family is coming to enjoy the park, where are they going to park if the municipal parking is filled? And then two, trucking all their stuff over to the playground, wherever they want to go. So I was just wondering, that's going to be kind of a bummer. Because if I go down to the.
Catch 22 though.
Excuse me?
I've been here since it's been changed. So when it was open, and the hospital just filled it with other workers.
Yeah, why did they park down there?
So but it's Green Acres property, so it's not like we can give people resident stickers and give residents special priority because it's Green Acres property. So the alternative is you either have to police all of it or police none of it. And we know that if we police none of it, it basically becomes employee and visitor parking for the hospital, and then no one gets parked there anyway. It's been a conundrum for years. I've sat here with many more people than Jim, and they've gone back and forth, and then we got called. Then one time we tried to do what you're asking, and then Green Acres called, and we had to dedicate all the money to the Parks Fund, and we got our wrist slapped trying to make it do what you just said. So the Green Acres really complicates the parking down there. You either have to charge everybody and make it municipal parking, or leave it open. And then when we leave it open, we saw what happens with that. So that is the conundrum down there, though.
But the good news is the money that is charged for the parking there has to go directly to the park, repair and maintenance and things. So that part's good.
What was the other thing? Oh, I want to thank Mr. Gantz for sending out the 3 DPW people for our Juneteenth program. Yeah, it was a big help.
They were amazing.
Prior to that, we were, the 4-man committee that we were, was hauling tables and doing all that. Those guys did an excellent job. So I want to thank you for having them available to work with us. Thank you.
And I'd actually like to pay you a compliment, if you don't mind. At the last community meeting and this one, you weren't just stepping up with an issue, you were proposing a solution, whether it works or not. That's a vital extra step. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any comments, questions, soliloquies? It's open. Anyone online?
Mayor, I thought you did it solo.
Yeah. What soft, what light through yonder window breaks. Right, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
I'll make such a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we don't, I'll send it over to Christina. You got anything?
Or just one item to share that's on my mind from yesterday. Nancy has been amazing and trying to help us set up some very targeted kind of mobile office hours for folks who might not be able to make it either to the morning, Wednesday mornings at the senior center, which she and Ben are nearly always at, or with any of us by appointment Wednesday nights at the library. Still might not fall into everybody's hours. So we've been trying to find some targeted places where you can go and to speak to residents. And yesterday we actually had a great session. We partnered with our LD11 assembly folks, Marjorie, Donlin, Lynn, Peter Paul, to visit the atrium yesterday afternoon. And it was a big crowd. It was
40 to 50 people.
40 to 50 of the residents, seniors at the atrium. Had a lot of questions, which was great, both for folks at the state level, but a lot for the local level too, so it was nice to be there to be able to respond. Things like mobility in that direct area, sidewalks. I was not expecting to be questioned as much about bike lanes when visiting senior living as I was, but I was actually really excited to hear that that was a priority for them too. So we will be trying to make some other visits throughout the summer, but just wanted to report it was a really nice meeting.
Got a few things. First, I'd like to acknowledge, we had that storm come through.
Yeah.
Heavy. In about 2.5 hours, we had 14 calls with the fire department. I'd like to acknowledge the efforts of the fire department, but also the police. They were everywhere. And then DPU, they were everywhere. And this town was clean. Just a real compliment to the folks in this town, aid volunteer, et cetera, just really kind of getting out. And there was some real damage done to folks' homes.
Okay.
So a heck of a job done. But I also want to acknowledge the efforts of the fire department on Shrewsbury Avenue the other day. Those are hot conditions that people were working in, and a resident was helped. And that's a complicated situation. I'd also like to acknowledge, if you have an opportunity, I went to a fundraiser down in Long Branch for Tim Cronin of Jack's. And I'd like to say something about Tim. He's a friend of mine, and I'd like to encourage everyone to take a look at some of the reporting on Tim's situation and battle with ALS that Brian over here has done. Saw Brian and John Ward down there in Long Branch, and Tim really created a space for artists in this town. I don't know if people realize, like the musicians that had a space, they could go out, they could express their art, they could build a time, and they'd always have a job when they left on tour and they came back. And that's a compliment to a guy understanding what this community needed for people to actually pursue that art. And he's just a hell of a guy. I don't know what else to say. And he's my neighbor. He lives a few doors down, and terrible Mets fan, but we can forgive that. But if you take a look at the reporting, Brian, I just want to say, like, you've done just a couple of my favorite stories in the last several months have been on Tim, and just thank you for being a local voice. For folks that need a local voice, I just really, really want to compliment that. But there's also a GoFundMe going around for Tim. The ALS is not a small expense. So if you take a look at that reporting, Red Bank Green has links. But about 1,000 people came out to this fundraiser.
That's great.
Out in Long Branch, and it was huge and it was beautiful. And I told Tim that one of my favorite things was there were people I haven't seen in 2 or 3 years, and because of him, he was bringing back people to reconnect around him. And that's art, and that's music, and that's a decent human being who needs a little help right now. So please take a look out there if you can. But he's played a real role in the arts in his town. July 4th is coming. Want to encourage everyone, have a safe and happy one. And don't forget that on July 11th, So What at the Red Rocks. Do not miss So What at the Red Rocks. And before you go and, buy a couple drinks, maybe hit the GoFundMe, but have a great, it's summer in Red Bank.
Yes.
Lots of good things happening for good people, including So What.
Thank you, David. Nancy?
Sure. Christina, thank you for mentioning mobile office hours. If anybody has a location that they think that could work, reach out to me. Let me know. Be happy to set something up. It was really, as Christina mentioned, it was really nice to be able to sit there with the assembly women, and as well as members of council to talk about what the issues and hear their concerns, as well as share information. I mean, not many people knew, as an example, that if you have a doctor's appointment and you're a member of the senior center, you can work with them and they can take you to the appointment. And I thought, they were very happy to know that that service is available, to them as residents. Moving along, Smart Growth America reviewed the complete and green streets policies all over the nation by various jurisdictions. And I'd like to report that Red Bank and Asbury Park too made the top 10 of having the best complete street policies. So the work that we're doing here by putting in our complete and green streets policy and working and actively pursuing it and following the program since 2024 is working, and we're getting national recognition for it. And then moving right along, the Complete Streets Advisory Committee met last Friday, and we commented on the Safe Routes to School bike walk audit that was performed with the assistance of Easy Ride. We also discussed a possibility of a micro-mobility share program suggested by Easy Ride. But honestly, we took a look at the roads and we're like, not right now, we're not there yet. But it's something to strive toward at some point. If you noticed on Broadwalk, you'll notice that there are new barriers up. There's been an ongoing problem with teenagers who come from out of town that are riding through Broadwalk on e-bikes. They're going very fast, they're doing proper wheelies, and it's creating a hazard for the pedestrians, and Broadwalk is a pedestrian plaza. So they've had a lot of trouble, I guess, containing the teenagers to follow the rules. So hence what you see there. The Quick Build mini grant program at River Layton is it's in the works. It's going to happen. We're also looking at some intersections within town that could need some improvement. And so that was it. The Shade Tree Committee met, and they're working on what is called a tree canopy program. And what you notice in Red Bank is that the planting strips, which is between the sidewalk and the street, are very narrow and it really can't sustain trees. So they've come up with the idea that they could identify a street that could benefit from shade trees and show a resident where to plant it. They would sign the waiver and they'll be given a tree. And once they sign the agreement to give the tree, it's theirs forever. And it will help over the years build a lovely tree canopy that we have, around town. So also this morning, I went with Laura and Ben to the Hapcore mural, but I'll let them talk about it more. And I want to thank you so much for being here.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Oh, no, I'm leaving that for Laura. And I want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July and be safe out there. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ben.
Well, unfortunately, Parks and Rec didn't have a quorum, so I don't have that much to report, except that the Juneteenth event was amazing. Thank you. And to all the volunteers and participants. And it's amazing the range of issues we hit there, things we take for granted, I participated in a march. We had music and a powerful speech from Reverend Jackie and actually affordable housing was talked about. We had I don't remember the group, they know you, Mayor.
Affordable Housing Alliance.
Affordable Housing Alliance was there, and a lot of people were talking about affordable housing, and I do hear it, and I have ranted about this before, and I am grateful to be your councilman because I don't mind when people visit on Wednesdays at the senior center and talk about affordable housing, and there's things that we're gonna probably be making decisions on some of this, and there's this fantasy of how to make Red Bank the way it was 30 years ago. And I lived here then. I was part of the Red Bank community on that. My grandmother grew up here. And the idea that, you could buy a house for $90,000 or less. And you could find apartments for $700 a month or less. And we don't live in that. And in some ways, capitalism has been working against affordable housing for sure. And it's very hard to find reasonable solutions that will actually work. I mean, it's easy to scream, I want to build single family residence next to the train station and charge, $80,000 for those houses. Well, the only way something like that could ever happen would be for the borough or somebody who has unlimited money to buy expensive land and, housing construction costs are enormous. And so, I just say that because, when you're on a borough council or whatever, we have to deal with reality. And I also hear, people say, oh, you can't raise people in anything but a house. And that's just not true. My neighborhood's full of kids and families who didn't grow up in a house. We're lucky we have a house.
I live in an apartment till I was 7.
But I hear that all the time.
Apartment.
And we're gonna do the best we can, all of us, with what we can. Not everybody has the luxury of having a very nice house, this thing like this happening when I brought 2 kids up in. And yet, I know a kid who went to Harvard and is doing amazingly. He grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment above one of the businesses near my house, and that family seems to be doing great. And I want to get housing for people. I want actually places for people to live. I don't want Red Bank to just be a community of the rich. And I'm avoiding saying that term, but got so much attention last time. I love that we are a town that's diverse on many levels, racially, economically, and I think it makes us one of the things that makes us great that we have core housing. It was great to be there this morning. We help people here. And we have some of the most amazing and most beautiful houses on the water. And I've been to the Count Basie Gala was nice enough to invite Councilman Forrest there the other night. And it was amazing to see our magnificent theater in its glory. When I grew up there watching Disney movies. So anyway, that's what's on my mind, Mayor. Great Juneteenth, and if you want to see what the Recreation Department's doing, I think you have to go to the website. I don't have much of a report other than that today. Laura, you're up.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi.
The library is actually meeting tonight as we're meeting here, so that's why I'm not there, but I do have a report from the director. The Eisner Lab is continuing to fill their calendar with tutoring appointments and workshops. They have Loop and Learn, Crochet and Tech, Loop and Learn, Mac Basics. They have a lot of different courses going on there. You can go on the website and see it. They've been having some trouble with the lower level plumbing in the library, but that's being worked on by the DPW. They're having a volunteer reception on August 18th from 6 to 8. They're having special event programming July 8th, 28th, 5 to 7. They got a new flagpole. I think there was some destruction of the other flagpole. So she wanted to thank the DPW for putting up a new flagpole, and they trimmed dead tree branches around that. They're looking into new digital signs for the front of the library. They're looking at different types of signs. On Monday, library programming, they've had 4,000 patrons respond to more than 1,700 inquiries, and they had 41 new library cards this month. Some of the events going on at Reading Rainbow Story Time will be in the backyard, weather permitting. They had story time on Boardwalk the other day too, I saw, and some people showed up for that, some of the kids. A colorful video game for teens will be Wednesday, July 2nd. Masters of Art for all ages will be July 8th, 5 to 7. Button Making Bonanza will be Saturday, July 12th from 11 to 1. Crafty Listener Workshop Adults, July 16th, 3 to 5. And an evening with our authors will be for adults on July 28th. And the Eisner Lab programming that have Introduction to Indeed, Thursday, July 3rd. ChatGPT Basics will be July 9th. And Make Code Arcade will be July 22nd. And phone customization for teens will be July 31st. So the library's been really busy. Animal welfare on July 12th, they're going to have the food drive again for dogs and cats. And this time we're going to be giving the food to lunch break. Today, Nancy and Ben and I had the privilege of going to see the mural that was displayed at the house on South Pearl Street for Have Poor. It's beautiful. It was done with Monmouth Arts and Have Poor, and they did a beautiful job on it. So it really was very nice, and nice to see that we have such a great facility for people in our community who need those support systems. So that's it. Everybody have a happy 4th. And the Juneteenth was great. Thanks. I had a great time there. Thank you.
Yeah. Probably good.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to start out with Broadwalk, which was actually brought up briefly tonight. While we're inside here, there's actually 70 people right now participating in the free line dancing program in the Broadwalk, and almost just as many spectators. So it's been so great. I've had a couple friends wish me be like, where are you? And I'm at the council meeting. But it just goes to show the success of your outreach and your programming. There's going to also be, again, Monday, there'll be story time and kids takeover, where there's actually gonna be a Red Bank business hosting a make your own sunglasses with the kids. And then on Tuesday, there's no cost martial arts classes there. But just follow Red Bank River Center on their socials and check on their website for more future events, which also the social media accounts for River Center have been performing extremely well. The interaction and the buzz around your programming has been completely undeniable and exactly what Broadwalk has been missing. So I wish I got to see it in person, 70 people line dancing in Broadwalk right now. But it just fills my heart with so much happiness to hear that community space is being used properly. Also, Donna Rubin of the newly formed Red Bank Visual Arts Committee is going to be painting the Playhouse in the Broadwalk, which is just a wonderful, nice gesture. Yesterday, the state nonprofit New Jersey Future chose to have their staff retreat here in Red Bank, and I was happy to help assist in the coordination of that. They had a wonderful lunch at Milu Pizza's. Then they took a walking tour of the corridor of Monmouth Street with our planner and our manager and a handful of our elected officials. and just basically went down the corridor. They visited Gallery Lucida for a tour. And then we went back down the corridor. They saw the Broadwalk, obviously super happy about the pedestrian plaza. And then they took a tour of the Two River Theater, which is always one of my favorite places for people to see the backstage of and just see what a remarkable facility it is. There's very few examples of theaters nationally that have their costume design, their prop house, the ability to build a set and roll it directly on stage, rehearsal areas that are mirror the exact same size as their stage with unobstructed, no columns. I mean, it's such an unbelievable design to behold, and they were completely blown away to see that we have that here in our town. So it was definitely a point of pride, and they were happy. They were like, "You're getting the Smart Growth Award." They find out, you know, they were very excited, and I believe that they might have had a hand in putting everybody's hard work here on the radar. So I'm thankful that they did that. Yeah, it was just great to showcase the town. The Juneteenth event was wonderful. I stayed until the end. The vendors were wonderful. I had some of the best lemonade of my life from the Roper's Lemonade stand based out in Princeton. I really appreciated the equity and the importance of the vendors that were there. From talking to the founders of that business, you know, their relatives were sharecroppers. You know, we had Jesse Garrison there, whose parents were sharecroppers. It's never lost on anybody on this dais that we are still in a need of reparations. It was a few years ago when I introduced and we passed a resolution unanimously asking the state of New Jersey to start a reparations task force. That did not ever come to fruition or move forward. But Governor Murphy did create a wealth disparity task force through executive order in 2021. And then because that reparations task force never came to fruition, there was a New Jersey Reparations Council, which was formed by the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice in response to a lack of movement on that state bill. And I just wanted to share that New Jersey Reparations Council actually released a very extremely in-depth report this year on Juneteenth. There were like 9 subcommittees that are part of this report. It's a lot. It's free. It's online. So I'm definitely going to take a deep dive into that and just make sure that we're staying on point with it. But that's, you know, it's important to keep it on our radar where these things go when we pass resolutions saying we want there to be higher action and then seeing if that higher action is taken or, you know, staying connected to the information. So yeah, if anybody wants to check out the report, it is available online. And like I said, the name of the report is For Such a Time as This, the Nowness of Reparations for Black People in New Jersey. And it's a report from the New Jersey Reparations Council. And everybody have a 4th of July. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep it short. I just want to commend a couple of employees of the borough, I guess. First, I want to give a shout out to Chief Frank Woods that we had a terrible fire on Shrewsbury Avenue. A gentleman I think sustained some pretty bad burns and probably would have died if not for the actions of our fire department. So I want to thank the chief and the rest of our volunteer firefighters. And I want to just give a shout out to Chief Frazee too. I get a bunch of emails throughout the day with people having issues, which is appropriate. And the chief is always really prompt and really thorough in his responses. In fact, we got an email the other day, with an issue, I think it was on Rector Place. And I saw like a day or two went by and the chief didn't respond and I sent him a text. I was like, hey, did you see that email? And he was like, come on, man. I went over there immediately when I got it. He went and talked to the homeowner. So he then sent an email for my benefit, just but he's incredibly responsive. So if you're having an issue, please call us. We want to help. So one other library event, hot off the presses, July 22nd, there will be a production of Midsummer Night's Dream done outside on the hill
Beautiful.
by the library. It'll be a free show. My son is directing and producing it. So looking forward to that. Just got the text while we're sitting here.
Is this the same son published author?
Can we talk about that?
He's on fire right now.
Yes.
My son just published a novel. He was in the creative writing program at RBR. And as a senior, his assignment was to write a novel, and it's good. I didn't have to have that awkward conversation like, wow, there's a lot of pages. I like the cover. I didn't have to do any of that. It was actually good. And I had a bunch of questions about it. And we had like a little family book club about it. So yeah, he's tearing it up. So
Heck, yeah.
yeah, my other kids are cool too. Anyway, that's all I got. I'll pass it over to you, Jim.
Damn.
Go Jim.
Wow.
That's a hard act to follow.
It always is.
Actually, you guys covered a lot up here tonight. I just want to again extend congratulations and a lot of goodwill to the Juneteenth committee. They did a tremendous job putting on a great event. So again, appreciate all that work together that's being done between the borough and the outreach as well. We did put out the mural RFP for the community mural in the Borough Hall vestibule. We received a response, which we sent off to the Visual Arts Committee. I'm actually looking to extend that deadline a little bit, just to see if we can get some more outreach there as well. Our water department foreman started on Monday, so I'm happy to see that the leadership is being continued in the water department.
How's he doing, by the way? Those are some big shoes to fill.
There's some big shoes to fill. I'm actually very excited about him starting. He's a licensed water operator with several licenses in the business that directly relate to our system and the system that we run. So it's great that he comes here qualified and ready to dig in. I met with him on Tuesday. He's already got a lot of great ideas. Meeting with the staff, going to the various facilities to ensure that, you know, we are up on everything that we need to be in with Bobby transitioning out. Now Isaiah transitioning in. And again, having Tom Branch as our water operator for 20 years, that continuity is there as well. So there's a lot of mentoring going on right now. I want to extend my appreciation to the mayor and council, deputy mayor, for getting us through the ordinances that were passed tonight for the creation of the Department of Recreation and Human Services. Again, I think that's going to be strategic for the future of Red Bank, and also for the creation of the deputy director position of Public Works. Bobby held a supervisor title in Public Works. We replaced that title with a foreman, so that now we have the foreman all at one level, and then this deputy director position will be the buffer between the foreman management, lower level management to mid management to upper management of Terrence, which, is structured like that in many places. And particularly you look at just our police department, right? Sergeants, lieutenants, captain, chief. There needs to be layers of management so that Terrence can operate effectively as well. And I just wanted to, again, highlight that the two things, actually, two programs, the Quick Build Mini Grant Program. We've been working on that throughout the week, just bringing in quotes and making sure we're operating within that $10,000 grant. That'll be at River and Layton at the intersection there. We have the striping company, which would be the thermoplastic striping. They'll be out on Monday or Tuesday of this week coming up.
Pray no rain.
Yep, pray no rain. And so obviously weather permitting, we ordered the bollards, which will go on the outside of that striping. And we are also working now on a plan for the artwork that will go inside the bump out areas. So I think that intersection will be highly visible and definitely an improvement within the $10,000 confines of that grant. And the Conrail Railroad at Dr. James will be worked on in August, according to the NJDOT.
Whoa, that's big.
Great.
So a lot of good things happening, a lot of good improvements.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have exec session yet?
We do not, Mayor.
All right, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. think I'm gonna take my sugar one.